Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over part 2 of the How to Katsu series. Last video, we kind of gave us a baseline of the hero really quick and down and dirty on like why you would play Katsu. I'm trying to keep that same rhythm with all of these How to Katsu videos. I don't want them to be 30-40 minute long videos. They're just really hard to digest. I'm trying to do these videos in like 10 minutes each. So if you're new to the channel, definitely go through this How to Katsu series as it goes along. Hopefully I can give you like quick digestible information to kind of get you on your way with Katsu. And definitely give me feedback on anything that I may have missed that you want me to go over. If you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for watching this video. Even if it's stuff that you kind of already know or may not know, hopefully I can give you a little nugget here and there and help you out. So if you like this kind of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Join the Discord down below, whether you're a Ninja player or not, doesn't matter, and we'll get right to it. So in part 2 of the How to Katsu series, we're going to be going over starters. Starters are typically chain 1 attacks or not just chain 1 attacks, but attacks that start off your combo lines. Last video, we talked about how Katsu has combo cards, where if you basically play a card that says if this card precedes a card, it gains a buff. So like, for example, this is Surging Strike. If you play a Surging Strike and then a Whelming Gust Wave normally is a 0 for 3 with no go again, but if it's comboed with Surging Strike, it's a 0 for 4 with go again, and if it hits, you draw a card. So if they combo together, kind of like a fighting game. So starters are the starting cards for all those combo lines. So or they're a starter as in they have natural go again and they're able to start long chains of attacks. So we'll kind of go over each starter, what the main purpose of it is, and kind of just give you an idea of how to play them and hopefully give you like a baseline principles to take into the outsider set, and you can be successful. So the first starter on the list is Surging Strike. Honestly, like the line that Katsu is most well known for. If you want to look it up on your own, definitely look it up. But this is one of Katsu's biggest lines. It goes from Surging Strike to Whelming Gust Wave to McGinty Release to Lure Wind. It's a 4-card combo. And Surging Strike is 2 resources for 5 damage, and it has go again. So it's one of the biggest cards that Katsu can use. Typically, and back when it was played a lot, obviously, and Kitty Katsu wasn't as much around, it was paired with a card, chess piece called Heart and Cross Strap, which in aggro matchups is really useful. What Heart and Cross Strap basically does is if you destroy it, your next attack action costs 2 less to play, which allowed you to play Surging Strike for free. So 0 for 5 go again, really good value, and was able to continue with that. So usually those are paired together. Typically this is played on Chain Link 1. Nothing too fancy about this starter, just really good value. If you're running like a full Whelming list or going into outsiders, it seems like personally a lot of the lines are going to be revolved around the Surging line. You have cards like Be Like Water, which I'll show you here in a minute, which can technically serve as a starter of a Surging Strike. You also have cards like Bonds of Eternity or Bonds of Ancestry, which we'll get into when it comes to the combo cards, that also combos into the Surging Strike line. And then we're going to get a card called Descendant Gust Wave, which likely will combo into Surging Strike as well. So there's a lot of different cards that go into this card. This is honestly the main starter in Katsu. You're going to run 3 of these at red if you're running it at all, 100%. And then I would advise, if you're running a full Surging list, to run 2 at yellow. I don't like 3. I usually run 2, and you don't have to run the blues. So hopefully all of that makes sense. Usually it's played on Chain 1 more times than not. If you have Whelming already in hand, like Surging Strike and Whelming together in hand, sometimes you can play a Kadachi first, pitching a blue, then play Surging Strike for 5, baiting them out, telling them, hey, you better block this. And if try to bait out their block, to then play Whelming Gust Wave on Chain Link 3. Sometimes that works as well. Then we have Leg Tap. The leg tap line, if you go back in my videos, if you're new to the channel, I did a combo line breakdown on how much each combo line comes in for damage-wise, how much, the efficiency of it, how many resources are used, things of that nature. So go check that out if you want to. But the leg tap line is the most efficient line Katsu has. Leg tap goes leg tap into Rise Knee Thrust, and then Rise Knee Thrust can either go into a card called Hurricane Technique or a card called Blackout Kick. Typically, on a Hurricane Technique also costs 1. Rise and Thrust costs 0. Leg Tap costs 1. So for 2 resources, you can attack for 15 damage. And if you play Hurricane Technique again because of its ability, you basically can attack for like 19 damage for 3 resources, which is really good value. It's one of the more efficient lines Katsu has. I definitely recommend running 3 red leg taps. You'll never most of the time see people run yellow or blues just because you want that 4 breakpoint. So keep that in mind as you run this card. But it's a very, very good card. One of the more efficient lines that Katsu has available. Then you have Head Jab. The Head Jab line has fell a little bit out of favor, although I run it personally. It's Head Jab into Open the Center, and then Open the Center, just like Rise and Thrust, has kind of like a split combo where you can either go into Fluster Fist or Pounding Gale. So it's a 3-card combo at the end of the day. Head Jab's a 0 for 3 go again. Usually in most lists, it's actually just used for raw damage. People aren't looking to combo into it. Some people still run 1 Open the Center, like me. But most time it's a 0 for 3 go again. Really solid, normal card. Usually only ran it red. I would not run yellows or blues with this card. It's just a 2-block. If it was a 3-block, then maybe. But right now, it's just kind of a 0 for 3 go again. Pretty standard. Then you have 100 Winds. This is one of the best additions. It got brought up in Everfest. It's a starter that's also a combo card, and it combos off itself. So it's a 0 for 3 go again, and then if you play another 100 Winds after 100 Winds, they get +1. So if you play 2 red 100 Winds in a row, the first one comes in for 3, the second one comes in for 4. If you play 3 red 100 Winds in a row, it'll go 3, 4, 5, if that makes sense. So it also combos into a card called Winds of Eternity, which is a blue majestic, which basically says that if Winds of Eternity hits, the 100 Winds that you played before it go back into your deck. So if you played 200 Winds and then Winds of Eternity, those 200 Winds get to go back into your deck and you shuffle it and you get to keep attacks in your deck. Because of Katsu's ability, being able to search combo cards, you're also able to search for this card, which is really nice. So it's a good way to extend combo lines. One of the more like consistent lines in Katsu's deck. The top 3 lines that Katsu runs, or top 3 starters that Katsu runs, are 100 Winds, Leg Tap, and Surging Strike. Those are probably your top 3. If you're new to the game, those are the 3 lines I suggest getting. They're not going to be expensive at all. And overall, that's what I would focus on. If you want to build like a base core level Katsu deck, I suggest running those 3. Then we have Flex Claws. Flex Claws is a 1 for 4 go again. If it hits, you create a Crouching Tiger in your banish zone. You may play it again this turn. So it's a 1 for 4, which is good rate. It's on rate to like a leg tap. Typically, you're going to play this into a Crouching Tiger, potentially. The only issue with this card is the way Crouching Tigers work is they naturally come in for 0. You have to buff them with either a Roar of the Tiger or an Art of War or some other type of card. Maybe new Head Leads the Tail, which is a new starter that Katsu has access to. But overall, it's a little bit difficult to play this line all the time, because if you don't have a way to buff that Crouching Tiger, then it's going to disrupt your chain links because you're not going to get another hit. And if you don't get that, then it really hurts your ability to pop Mask of Momentum, which can be a really big issue. So it's not to say that this is a bad line to take. I just would say be very careful. It can work with a Shuko build, honestly, but overall, it's not something that you're going to be able to run consistently because, like I said, it's going to kill your Mask of Momentum plays. Excuse me, I just reset. I had to add in Head Leads the Tail. It's going to kill your Mask of Momentum plays, and it could hurt you. But overall, it's a 1 for 4. It's not too terrible. Most people just run it red, but not really one that you're going to main board, to be honest. Then you have one of the new cards like Head Leads the Tail. This is coming out in Outsiders. We don't know a whole lot about how this card's going to play. Typically, from what I've seen, this, and I'm going to do a reaction video, by the time you watch this video, the reaction video will already have gone out, so go ahead and check that out. But this card mainly is going to be played in the Kitty Katsu list. So if you play in a Crouching Tiger list, it's really good for that. Because if you have a card like Predatory Streak in hand, which creates 3 Crouching Tigers, you play that first, create 3 Crouching Tigers, then you play Head Leads the Tail, you name Crouching Tiger, because it says when this attacks, name another card. Attack action cards that have that get +1 for the combat chain. So if you name Crouching Tiger, your Crouching Tigers will now come in for 1. So it's really good for that. overall, one thing to keep in mind with this card, it can't name itself. You have to name another card. By my understanding, reading the comprehensive rules, that means it either has to be a different name or a different pitch. So you can't play head leads the tail, name head leads the tail, and then play another one. It will not buff it because it's technically not another card. It's the same card. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit below rate, but overall, it's really good in a Kitty Katsu list. And if you're a Ninja player in general, it's really also good in Ira. Because if you play this in Ira, if you play it on the second chain link, it'll come in for 4 because of Ira's ability, and then it'll also give a +1 to something else. So it basically is a 1 for 5 in Ira, which is really, really nice. Then we have Ride the Tailwind. Ride the Tailwind's really good for certain lists that really value those 2 power attacks. So if you have a really go wide Crouching Tiger list that has like Salt the Wounds in it to be able to play like really Assault Wounds at the end of turns, or with the new card Dishonor, which is a combo card, it might be able to be good in. There's a couple cards in Katsu's kit that are 2 power or less, because this reads, when Ride the Tailwind hits, the next attack action card with 2 or less base you play as combat chain gains go again. So it can give key cards like Salt the Wound go again. It can give Winds of Eternity go again. Like if you play this into 100 wins and 100 wins into Winds of Eternity technically has go again. If it hits, it'll be able to play into cards like Dishonor, which is coming out in Outsiders as well. And like I said, Salt the Wound. Those are like the biggest ones. It also, in a pinch, can give a blue go again, which has actually been really useful sometimes. So it's not like a main starter that Katsu uses, but it is one I think is useful if you are running a list that has a lot of 2 power attacks, especially useful ones at blue. This one might be more and more played with the Kitty Katsu list as you see time go on. And if you're really trying to, give Dishonor go again, it could be used in like a Dishonor combo list, but I doubt it, honestly. Then we have Twin Twisters. So this is a starter. It doesn't have a combo line yet. Just like Ride the Tailwind also does not have a combo line. But Twin Twister says, choose one. Twin Twister gains, when it hits, your next attack this combat chain gains +1, or Twin Twisters gains +1. So Twin Twisters either is going to be a 1 for 4 with go again, or it's going to be a 1 for 3 giving your next attack go again. Now, there's a card called Be Like Water, which I'm going to skip really fast. Sorry, it's not in order. That's coming out in Outsiders that reads, when this hits, you may pay 1. If you do, choose Head Jab, Surging Strike, or Twin Twisters. This card gains that chosen name. There's no reason for them to make Twin Twisters gain the name if it's not going to have a combo card, because the reason you play this card is basically like for Head Jab, I play Be Like Water, it hits, I pay 1 resource, the name becomes Head Jab. That way I can play my Open the Center and it combos. So because they included Twin Twisters in that list, that means Twin Twisters likely is going to have a combo card associated with it in Outsiders. So it might be more useful coming up into the next set. Regardless, though, it's still pretty good. This is a really good Ira card because it always is going to come in on the second chain link, 1 for 4, and then also give your attack +1 on the next attack, similar to how Head Leads the Tail works. So overall, right now in Katsu, it's not as much played, but in Outsiders, if this combo line that we're going to get with it is good enough, then it might end up being played. Then we have a couple of cards that are technically not traditional starters because they don't have automatic go again. However, they are the starters to their combo lines. So you have Soul Bead Strike, which is a 0 for 4. If it hits, it gains go again. If it doesn't hit, it does not have go again. It's a 3 block, and it goes into the Crane Dance line, which is Soul Bead Strike into Crane Dance, and then Crane Dance into technically Flood of Force, and then Break Tide. So this line isn't as favored because it doesn't have any natural go again in it. You kind of have to get cards to hit. However, this is a really good, just like generic card to have in Katsu as a ninja card because it attacks for 4, it hits a breakpoint, it costs 0, so you can discard it for Katsu, and it doesn't cost anything to play, and it blocks for 3. So this card at red and blue is actually pretty good, and if you're getting into the game, you don't want to spend money on like all the Majestics, having 3 red Soul Bead Strikes at red and 3 blue Soul Bead Strikes is really, really good. Highly suggest it. And then we have Torrent of Tempo. If Torrent of Tempo hits, it gains go again. This one is the Torrent of Tempo line, which goes Torrent of Tempo into Rushing River, and then Rushing River into Fine Center. Fine Center used to have it still has a really good ability, but it's a little bit easier block now. Similar to Soul Beat Strike, this line has no natural go again, so overall it's not as favored. However, Torrent Tempo is a really good value card. If you're new to the game, this card is super nice because it's a 1 for 5 that's threatening go again. If you play this card on like Chain Link 3 or 4, it can really put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Maybe you Kadachi, they block the second Kadachi to try to prevent Mask on the next attack, and then you play Torrent Tempo for 5. It puts them in a weird spot because they already just committed a card from hand to block the Kadachi, so are they going to commit another 2 cards from hand to block the Torrent? It's really, really good for that. So overall, really nice. It's even good in Ira. In Ira, it's a 1 for 6 on her second ability, really putting your opponent in a bad spot to have to block out 6 to prevent the go again, so I highly suggest using that one as well, especially if you're just getting into the game. Then we have one of the newer cards that's coming out in Outsiders, Be Like Water. So what it appears to be is in Outsiders, one of the new mechanics is you're going to be able to change the names of cards. And why that's important is because one of the inconsistencies with Katsu is if you didn't have a way to combo your cards together, right? Like if I have in hand a Rising Knee Thrust, a Open the Center, a Be Like Water, or a starter, like let's say Twin Twisters, whatever, and then a 0, and then a blue. The problem with those 4 cards, Twin Twisters, Rising Knee Thrust, Open the Center, and a blue, is there's no combo. I can't combo into anything because I don't have a starter that matches the combo cards I have. Rising Knee Thrust needs leg tap in order to combo, and Open the Center needs head jab in order to combo. Neither one of those combos with Twin Twisters. So what the naming thing will allow you to do is I can name a card what the starter is in that combo line, and then I combo into it. So that's what Be Like Water is going to be. It's a 0 for 3 go again. If it hits, you can pay 1 resource. If you do, basically Be Like Water becomes head jab, Surging Strike, or Twin Twisters. It basically becomes that name. So again, same hand. If I have Be Like Water in my hand with an Open the Center, which combos into head jab, a Rising Knee Thrust, and a blue, if I play Be Like Water and they let it hit, I can pay 1 resource with my blue. Be Like Water now becomes a head jab by the name, and then I can play Open the Center, and now Open the Center sees Be Like Water as head jab, and it comes in for 6 dominate go again. So it's going to allow to have consistencies. This is definitely going to be a 3 of. It's at common, so it's probably going to be red, yellow, and blue. I would run this only in red. Some people are saying run it in yellow. I think 0 for 2 is just a little bit below rate. And if I'm paying 1 resource on a 2-power attack, that feels really bad if you don't have Tunic up. So Be Like Water is something that is going to be really good to keep the consistency with Katsu. It's going to be one of the better starters Katsu has because it's going to go into the head jab and the Surging Strike line, especially the Surging Strike line, which is one of your most powerful lines. If you play this card and they don't block it, Chain Link 1, you pay 1 resource, this becomes a Surging Strike, and then you can all of a sudden play Whelming Gust Wave on top of it. Really, really powerful card. So it's going to be one of the main starters that Katsu has, in my opinion, or one of the more consistent ones. It's going to be pretty much in every single deck that's not a Crouching Tiger list, and something that's going to be really good. And then finally, Head Leads the Tail, which we had in earlier. When this attacks, name another card. Again, the new mechanic is you're going to be able to name cards. Attack action cards with that have +1 this combat chain. You're mainly only going to see us in Crouching Tiger lists because it's going to be able to give Crouching Tigers +1. And then maybe I'll have some other use cases, right? If you already have Crouching, like if you play Roar the Tiger and the Pred Streaks, you already have 4 Crouching Tigers coming in for 1. Maybe you name Tiger Swipe to give your Tiger Swipe +1 as well. So it's going to have some good use case for that. Again, this will also be a really good Ira card because it's going to come in for 1 for 4 every time on the second Chain Link. So really good for that as well. But yeah, that's the starters. I try to get through them as quick as possible and also kind of give you all an idea of like how they play. Hopefully this made sense to y'all and y'all took something from it, whether you're new to the channel or not. If you like this kind of content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If not me, go to our Fleshbug career, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.